Before we dive into today's topic, I want to tell you about something that's changed how I approach pigeon health and performance. I run another channel called Pigeon Healthy where I share natural herbal treatment methods that most fanciers have never heard of. We're talking about plants and natural remedies that have powerful healing and performance-enhancing effects on pigeons. Things like specific herb combinations that boost immunity, natural treatments for respiratory diseases, plants that improve digestion and recovery after races, and natural alternatives to chemical medications. We cover pigeon diseases you might be struggling with right now: canker, respiratory infections, coccidiosis, worms, and show you exactly how to treat them using natural methods that actually work. No guessing. No expensive medications with side effects. Just proven herbal protocols used by top European lofts. If you're serious about keeping your birds healthy naturally and improving their performance without chemicals, go subscribe to Pigeon Healthy right now. The knowledge that could save you birds, save you money, and give you an edge your competition doesn't have. Now, let's get into today's topic. Sarah called me at 11 p.m. on a Thursday. I could hear in her voice immediately that something was terribly wrong. She was crying, trying to talk through tears. I'm losing them. I'm losing all of them. I don't know what's happening. They are dying. I've lost 6 birds in the last week. 3 more are sick. I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? I told her to calm down, take a breath. Tell me what's happening from the beginning. What symptoms are the bird showing? When did this start? What changed recently? She explained through broken sentences. The birds have been developing foot problems. Started about 2 months ago. First bird showed a small callus on the bottom of one foot. She didn't think much of it. Calluses happen sometimes. Then more birds developed calluses. Then the calluses started cracking and bleeding. Then infection set in. Swelling, heat, birds limping. She tried treating with antibiotics. Some birds seemed to improve temporarily, then got worse again. Now birds are dying. Not just the ones with obvious foot infections. Birds that seemed fine 2 days ago are suddenly dead, found on the floor of the loft. She's terrified she's going to lose everything. I asked her to describe her loft setup. She explains. It's a new loft. She built it herself last year. Did everything according to plans she found online. Good ventilation. Good lighting. Proper perches. Everything seems right. The floor is concrete. Nice smooth concrete. Easy to clean. She hoses it down twice a week. Keeps it spotless. I stop her there. Concrete floor? Bare concrete? Yes, she says. The plans showed concrete floor. Most American lofts use concrete. It's hygienic and easy to maintain. That's your problem. I tell her. The concrete floor is killing your birds. She doesn't understand. How can a floor kill birds? It's just a surface they walk on. I explained that I'm coming over tomorrow to look at the loft and her birds. She needs to send me photos tonight of the birds' feet. Close-up photos showing the bottom of the feet, the pads, any lesions or swelling. She sends the photos an hour later. I look at them and my heart sinks. Advanced bumblefoot. Multiple birds. Some cases so severe I don't know if they're savable. This is disaster. The next morning I drive to Sarah's loft. When I arrive, she looks exhausted. She's been up all night watching her birds, terrified more will die. I examine the loft first. She's right that most of it is well designed. Good airflow, proper nest boxes, adequate space. But the floor is a problem. Smooth concrete, hard as rock, zero cushioning, zero give. Birds walking on the surface experience constant pressure on their foot pads. It's like humans walking barefoot on concrete for hours every day. Eventually the tissue breaks down. I examined the live birds. 20 birds originally. 18 still alive at this moment, but 3 are clearly dying. 15 birds showing various stages of bumblefoot. Only 2 birds with completely healthy feet. The damage is catastrophic. Some birds are swelling on foot pads that's clearly infected. Pus visible in some lesions. Heat radiating from infected tissue. Some birds are septic. Infection has spread to bloodstream. These birds will die within days despite any treatment. The toxins from the infection are already damaging organs. Sarah asked a question that's been torturing her. How did I let this happen? I spent 5,000 euros on these birds. Best genetics money can buy. I built them a beautiful loft. I feed them quality food. I keep everything clean. How did I destroy my entire flock in 5 months? I tell her the truth. She didn't know. The information sources she relied on, online articles, American pigeon forums, didn't warn her about concrete floors. This is knowledge gap that's killing birds across America. European fanciers know about this. Americans often don't. Let me explain exactly what happens with concrete floors and why they are deadly over time. Pigeons' feet are designed for poaching on branches and roosting on varied natural surfaces. The foot pads of skin, then fatty tissue that acts as cushioning, then tendons and bones. When a pigeon lands or walks on a soft surface like earth or with shavings, the fatty cushioning distributes pressure across the entire foot pad. No single point experiences concentrated force. The tissue remains healthy. When a pigeon lands or walks on concrete, the hard, unyielding surface creates concentrated pressure points. Every step, every landing, pressure is focused on specific areas of the foot pad where the bones press against the skin. Over time, this repeated pressure causes a fatty cushioning to compress and break down. The skin thickens in response, forming calluses. The calluses are the body's attempt to protect against the pressure. But calluses are less flexible than normal skin. They crack under stress. When calluses crack, bacteria enters. Pigeons' feet are constantly exposed to bacteria from droppings, from the environment, from everything they walk on. Normally, the intact, healthy skin keeps bacteria out. When calluses crack, the bacteria has entry point directly into the subcutaneous tissue. Staphylococcus bacteria, which live everywhere in the environment, enter through the cracks. They colonize the fatty tissue under the skin. The body's immune response creates inflammation, swelling, pain. This is bumblefoot, also called pododermatitis. In early stages, bumblefoot is treatable. Antibiotics, wound cleaning, pressure relief by providing soft surfaces. Many birds recover if caught early, but Sarah didn't know to watch for early signs. By the time she noticed the calluses and cracking, multiple birds were already in intermediate stages. By the time she realized it was a serious problem and tried to treat, several birds were in advanced stages with systemic infection. Advanced bumblefoot is often untreatable. The infection spread through the bloodstream to organs. Liver, kidneys, heart, brain, all become infected. Multiple organ failure follows. The bird dies within days to weeks. This is what was happening to Sarah's flock. The concrete floor created the initial damage. The bacteria created the infections. The infection spread systemically. The birds died, all because of a floor. I tell Sarah we need to address this immediately. The concrete floor must be covered. We need to eliminate the pressure that's creating new injuries while we try to treat existing injuries. I show her how to build with platforms that cover the concrete. We go to hardware store, buy cheap pine boards, 2x4s for frame, wood screws. Total cost 40 euros. We spend 2 hours building platforms that sit on the concrete, creating with walking surface elevated about 5 centimeters above concrete. Then we cover the wood with pine shavings, creating soft bedding that cushions every step. The transformation is immediate. Birds that were limping severely on concrete walk almost normally on the soft shavings. The pressure is distributed. The pain is reduced. This doesn't cure the existing infections, but it prevents new damage and allows existing tissue to begin healing. Sarah is crying again, but this time from relief and guilt. Relief at their solution. Guilt that she didn't know about this sooner. How many birds could have been saved if she built this with floor 5 months ago? Probably all of them. We treat the bird with existing infections. The ones with early-stage bumblefoot get antibiotic course, foot soaking in Epsom salt solution, soft bandaging. Most of these birds recover over the next 2 to 3 weeks. The ones with intermediate stage get more aggressive treatment. Injectable antibiotics, surgical cleaning of infected tissue, long-term bandaging and monitoring. About half of these birds survive. The ones with advanced stage, systemic infection, there's nothing we can do. They die over the next week despite treatment. Final death toll, 11 birds out of original 20. 9 survivors, and 3 of those 9 have permanent foot damage that will prevent them from racing. Sarah's €5,000 investment became approximately €2,000 of healthy raceable birds. €3,000 loss of bumblefoot caused by concrete floor. The €50 wood platform solution could have prevented the entire disaster if implemented from day one. This is the most expensive lack of knowledge I've ever witnessed in pigeon racing. €5,000 of champion genetics destroyed by €50 of missing infrastructure. Let me explain why this problem is so common in America and so rare in Europe. American pigeon culture emphasizes sanitation and ease of cleaning. Concrete floors are promoted because they are easy to hose down, easy to disinfect, look clean and professional. American articles and forums recommend concrete. Many American loft designs include concrete as standard. New fanciers like Sarah follow these recommendations, assuming they are best practices. They don't know concrete is dangerous until birds start dying. European pigeon culture, particularly Belgian and Dutch, emphasizes foot health as primary concern. They know from generations of experience that hard floors damage feet. Belgian champion lofts use various flooring systems, but never bear concrete touching birds' feet. Some use wood floors. Some use concrete base covered with wood platforms and deep bedding. Some use dirt floors with sand covering. The specific material varies, but the principle is universal. Soft surface, cushion landing, pressure distribution, foot health priority. When you visit Belgian champion lofts, one thing you notice immediately is the bedding depth. Not thin layer of shavings over hard floor. Deep bedding, 5 to 10 centimeters of pine shavings or sand or straw. The birds sink slightly into the bedding when they land. The impact is cushioned. The pressure is distributed. The feet remain healthy. This isn't accident. This is deliberate design based on understanding biomechanics of pigeon feet. I've asked several Belgian old-timers about flooring. They all say the same thing. Hard floors are for humans, not for birds. We like hard floors because they're easy for us to clean. Birds need soft floors because their feet are delicate. If you want healthy birds, you provide what birds need, not what humans prefer. Some of them literally laugh at the idea of bare concrete floors. They can't believe American fanciers use concrete and then wonder why birds develop foot problems. This cultural difference extends beyond just flooring. Europeans generally prioritize bird welfare and natural conditions over human convenience. Americans generally prioritize efficiency and modern hygiene over traditional natural methods. Neither approach is entirely right or wrong, but when it comes to flooring, the European approach produces healthier birds. The evidence is overwhelming. Bumblefoot is a relatively rare problem in European lofts. It's epidemic in American lofts with concrete floors. Let me give you the exact flooring protocol that prevents bumblefoot while maintaining reasonable sanitation. If you already have concrete loft floor, you have two options. Option 1 is covering the concrete with wood platforms like we built for Sarah. Option 2 is applying thick layer of bedding material directly on concrete and changing it frequently. Option 1 is better long-term solution. Option 2 works but requires more maintenance. 4 wood platform construction. Use standard 2x4 lumber to build frames sitting on the concrete. The frame should elevate the walking surface 5 to 8 centimeters above concrete. Lay pine board across the frame to create solid wood floor. Leave small gap between boards, maybe 5 millimeters, to allow drainage and airflow. The wood itself provides cushioning compared to concrete, and the air gap under the wood provides additional give. Cost for 20 square meter loft is approximately 40 to 60 euros depending on lumber prices. On top of the wood platform, apply pine shavings bedding 5 to 8 centimeters deep. Pine shavings are ideal because they are absorbent, naturally antibacterial from pine oils, comfortable for birds, and inexpensive. Change the bedding twice per week minimum. More frequently if you have many birds or if bedding becomes wet. Remove all bedding. Sweep the wood platform. Apply fresh bedding. Don't try to just add fresh bedding on top of old. Complete changes maintain hygiene. Some fanciers object to wood platforms, saying wood is harder to disinfect than concrete. This is true but irrelevant. Bumblefoot isn't caused by insufficient disinfection. It's caused by mechanical pressure. You can have the most sterile concrete floor in the world, and birds will still develop bumblefoot if the floor is hard. Conversely, wood floor with regular bedding changes maintains adequate sanitation while preventing pressure injuries. Perfect sterility isn't necessary or even beneficial. Natural bacterial diversity is part of healthy loft environment. Excessive disinfection disrupts this. If you absolutely must use concrete floor without wood covering, then bedding depth and chain frequency become critical. Minimum 10 centimeters of pine shavings or sand. Changed every 3 to 4 days. More frequent changes than with wood platform because the concrete underneath creates moisture accumulation that wood platform drainage prevents. Even with deep bedding on concrete, foot health problems are more common than with wood platform systems. The hard surface is still there under the bedding, still creating pressure with every bird landing. Alternative bedding materials each have advantages and disadvantages. Sand is good for drainage and natural feel, but heavy and harder to remove completely. Straw is soft and cheap, but doesn't absorb well and can harbor mites. Wood chips are similar to shavings, but create more dust. Shredded paper is absorbent, but becomes soggy quickly. Pine shavings are generally best compromise of cost, availability, absorbency, comfort, and ease of handling. Some European lofts use earth floors, just natural dirt or sand, raked and maintained regularly. This is excellent for foot health, completely natural cushioning, but impractical for most lofts, especially in wet climates or where ground freezes in winter. If you have ability to create earth floor with good drainage, it's probably the most natural and healthy option. Belgian old-timers call earth floors a traditional choice, and many still maintain them in their breeding lofts, if not in racing lofts. Now let me address prevention and early detection of bumblefoot for fanciers who already have birds. Prevention is flooring management as described. But even with good flooring, occasional cases can occur from injuries or genetic predisposition. Early detection prevents progression to serious infection. Weekly foot inspections should be part of routine bird management. Handle each bird, turn it over, examine both feet carefully. Look for early signs, thickening of foot pad skin, small calluses, any areas that feel harder than normal, slight discoloration, early cracks. If you find early signs on any bird, take immediate action. First, assess loft flooring. Is it adequate? If not, improve it before treating individual birds, because otherwise you'll be treating endless cases as more birds develop problems. Second, treat the affected bird. Soak foot in warm Epsom salt solution for 10 minutes daily. Apply antibiotic ointment to affected areas. Provide soft perching. Wrap perches with cloth or add extra padding. Monitor for improvement over 1 week. Most early cases resolve with these simple interventions. If condition worsens despite treatment, or if you see signs of infection like swelling, heat, pus, odor, then systemic antibiotics are needed. Consult avian veterinarian for appropriate antibiotic selection and dosing. Common choices are enrofloxacin or amoxicillin clavulanate. Treatment duration is typically 10 to 14 days. Some cases require surgical debridement of infected tissue. Advanced cases with bone involvement, osteomyelitis, are often untreatable, and euthanasia might be most humane option. Sarah's case taught important lessons beyond just flooring. Lesson 1 is that expensive genetics don't protect against management failures. Her €5,000 birds died just as easily as cheap birds would have died under same conditions. Genetics affect performance potential, but not basic vulnerability to environmental stresses. Hard floors damage expensive feet the same as cheap feet. Disease kills expensive birds the same as cheap birds. Money spent on genetics without equivalent investment in proper housing is wasted money. Lesson 2 is that American pigeon information sources are incomplete. Sarah followed American advice, used American loft designs, implemented American management practices. Everything she did was according to American pigeon culture standards. And it killed her birds. Not because American fanciers are stupid or malicious, but because certain knowledge that's common in European culture hasn't transferred to American culture. New fanciers following American advice are at risk of making expensive preventable mistakes. Lesson 3 is that some knowledge only comes from experience or from learning from experienced mentors. You can't learn everything from articles and forums. Direct observation of working lofts, especially European champion lofts, reveals practices that aren't written anywhere. The way bedding is maintained, the depth and texture of loft floors, the attention to tiny details like perch padding. These aren't mentioned in articles because they assume knowledge for experienced fanciers. New fanciers don't know what questions to ask because they don't know these things exist. Lesson 4 is that fixing problems after they develop is always more expensive and less effective than preventing problems. Sarah spent hundreds of euros on antibiotics, veterinary visits, treatment supplies. She lost 3,000 euros in bird value from deaths. She spent probably 60 hours dealing with sick birds, treating infections, disposing of dead birds, emotional distress. All of this could have been prevented with 50 euros and 2 hours spent building proper flooring from the beginning. Prevention is cheaper than treatment always. Lesson 5 is that bird health is foundation of everything else. Sarah had excellent training plans. She studied race strategies. She prepared carefully for racing season. None of it mattered because her birds were dying from foot infections. You can't race dead birds. You can't breed from sick birds. Health underlies all other aspects of pigeon keeping. If basic health management fails, everything else fails. Loft design matters more than most fanciers realize because loft design directly affects health. Let me end with this. If you have concrete loft floor right now, I'm not saying your birds will definitely develop bumblefoot. Some birds are genetically more resistant. Some fanciers get lucky and avoid serious problems despite suboptimal conditions. But the risk is real and significant. Why take the risk when the solution costs 50 euros in 2 hours? Build with platforms. Apply deep bedding. Change bedding regularly. Your bird's feet will thank you by remaining healthy. Your racing results will thank you by not being destroyed by preventable health problems. And if you already see early signs of foot problems in your birds, don't wait. Act immediately. Improve your flooring today, not next week. Treat affected birds now, not when it gets worse. Bumblefoot progresses quickly once it starts. Early intervention prevents disaster. Sarah's story is tragedy, but it doesn't have to be your story. Learn from her mistake. Implement proper flooring. Keep your birds healthy. Protect your investment. If this video showed you a critical management practice you didn't know about, hit the like button. Subscribe so you don't miss other crucial information that might save your birds. Comment concrete if you have concrete flaws and you're going to fix them after watching this. And check Pigeon Healthy channel for complete natural treatment protocols for Bumblefoot and other health issues. Because even with good prevention, health problems sometimes occur, and knowing how to treat them naturally can save birds and money. See you in the next video.